And today we will go through the esoteric aspects of the asanas, or the bodily attitudes in yoga. The first part and the second part will be next week. And the information that will be in Romanian on the slide, I am going to translate in English. So the Romanian attendees who don't speak English, please read that information on the slide. The asana and the body language. Every bodily attitude in reality mirrors a way of being or behaving of a human being and expresses in simultaneity an inner mood. For instance, in a certain context, we used to say about a person that their attitude is benevolent. Or in another context, we can say this man has a hostile attitude. So the position of our body mirrors how we feel inside. Asana in Yoga Sutra, the famous ancient treatise of the yogi and sage Patanjali, mentions that the bodily poses or asanas awaken, each one of them, different beneficial inner attitudes and induce different nuanced states of well-being, predominant well-being or harmony, which can last for long periods of time in the being of the yogi, and not only will transform that yogi or yogini on the multiple levels of their being, it also will nourish that yogi or yogini with the beneficial subtle energies at the level of the body, on a psychomental level, and even at the level of the soul, and then will impel that yogi or yogini to transform inclusively including from a spiritual point of view. The asanas trigger resonance. Every bodily attitude or asana from the Hatha Yoga system is performed in a static manner, and due to the process of occult resonance that shows up in the being of the practitioner, integrating in a certain way that position with a persistent attention, are in this way drawn and accumulated in the inner universe of that practitioner, varied beneficial subtle energies that come from the macrocosm and which awaken some aptitudes or trigger certain harmonious states or experiences or feelings, some of them euphorical, which shortly afterwards transform that practitioner on multiple levels of their being and enrich that yogi with different energies, both on a somatic level as well as from the psychic and spiritual point of view. The asanas have also a spiritual utility. Every bodily attitude or asana reveals in this way a mysterious meaning and present in simultaneity a spiritual utility which becomes obvious gradually beyond appearances. In this way are awakened and activated intelligence, intuition, creativity, inner harmony, the joy of living, spontaneity, spiritual freedom, and even wisdom. Yoga is not a sport, and that is not how we practice it in our classes. It can be said that in a justified way, sports are work lacking a masterpiece. As a play or as a game, sport often brings competition into the scene, but also being dazzled and often awakens this dazzlement and then can make it grow. Unlike certain games, sport is never derived from the hazard. The present central place of sport in modern society is due to especially the fact that it adapts very easily to all political regimes. The totalitarian regimes like very much the fact that through sport they promote with a lot of easiness the blind subjectiveness or submission of the masses of the human beings, and thus shows up the voluntarism which channels in a passionate and gregary way the inferior subtle energies of many human beings who become some passionate fans. The facade democracies like sport too, because they recognize most often in it the image of their mythology regarding that which they consider in a false way that it is the state of freedom and equality. The differences between the bodily attitudes or asanas that are specific within the Hatha Yoga system and within the sports disciplines are huge and obvious, especially for the attentive, enthusiastic, perseverant, and advanced practitioners of the Hatha Yoga system. Gymnastics is, we could say, the art of making only your body to become supple and slender through certain physical exercises that are conveniently chosen. Gymnastics includes, therefore, the totality of the physical exercises that contribute only to the harmonious development of the body. A very important idea that I would like you to remember from today's new lesson is the fact that through sports you lose energy, but through the asanas you gain energy. It is a different approach to energy in sports than in yoga. In sport, it's considered that you should lose energy because you have to lose weight. And that is not necessarily valid in yoga. So in yoga, you gain energy, but you can lose weight. Of course, if you don't need to lose weight through yoga, you won't. The great majority of sports and even gymnastics and sometimes the body or the bodybuilding require a supported or a sustained training, which involves a consistent ephemeral effort and the consumption of energy and hours to mobilize day after day. But all this happens only on the level of the body, of the physical body. In the case of these practices, the demons, which still exist, but in certain conditions, they will take an action and manipulate. They will not intervene at all to stop the people to train from the training if they chose this orientation. And they invest then freely in an enormously much energy and a lot of time, which could be used in a different way, with wisdom, in other beneficial directions in order to truly transform yourselves on multiple levels, such as, for instance, from the spiritual point of view. Coming back to Yoga Sutra of Nutritis of Patanjali, there it is mentioned that the position or asana is necessary to be firm, pleasant, and comfortable. It is also important for every bodily attitude or asana to be practiced in an excellent state of relaxation that is called in Sanskrit Shaitiliya. The ancient yogi treatises describe a large gamut of positions. Some of the bodily poses have different therapeutical functions, and that is why they are explained with more details in our classes. The asanas can function as a catalyzer for inner aptitudes. Some bodily attitudes or asanas awaken and facilitate the deepening of an aptitude, which confers a state of happiness without object, like in the case of Bhujangasana or the Cobra pose, for instance. Certain bodily attitudes or asanas will show up only beneficial inner aptitudes, which facilitate the spiritual success. It can be said that every bodily attitude or asana is a magical catalyzer that will show up different wonderful inner aptitudes that are only beneficial. And now, with respect to the benefits of asanas, the mystery of the bodily attitudes or asanas that generate different inner beneficial, wonderful, creative aptitudes, which transform us in good quickly and certainly, is well known by the advanced yogis who experienced with the asanas for thousands of years. Some bodily attitudes or asanas, which are considered classical, trigger constructive aptitudes and confer profound calm, remove stress on a perfectly natural way, trigger predominant states of euphoria, and put a smile on our face.